Good morning, welcome back to the channel. Out bright and early this morning. I've just brought you to which was the Walker Clogs Mill just outside Ebden Bridge, between Mytholmroyd and Ebden Bridge. It's since been pulled down after a couple of fires, but I'm going to tell you about that at a later stage. The tale I'm going to tell you today, I've called it Strange But True, and you'll see as we go on why it is a bit strange and true. Right, yep, we're just at Car Lane, just crossing the little bridge here. You can see that's the River Calder in full flow. We've had a bit of a storm over this last couple of days, Storm Amy, and it's just getting back to normal. The winds have dropped, so I think it's a good time to take you on a little jaunt round where I'm going to take you towards Mytholmroyd. Right, this bit here is called Mere Clough. It's back of the old Walker Clogs Mill. We've got a couple of houses here, and the whole point of this is taking you back to midsummer '95, and at the time I was working at Ebden Bridge with my old pal. I've changed the names. The old pal Ginge and a new lad called Ian, and we had a sergeant that turned up as well. So that's four of us working from Ebden Bridge, which doubled the staff. So we had two double man cars out. We took it in turns in driving the Land Rover. By this time, Ginge had passed his Land Rover test, and we had the car. Right, what it was, over the last few months, we'd had quite a lot of cars broken into, particularly around Mytholmroyd and the Caldine Avenue area. So what we did, whoever were driving, allocate driving the beat car, we'd do the sneaky beaky stuff, driving round, trying to catch these suspects out. The one in the Land Rovers, people in the Land Rover, with it being a noisy diesel engine, there's not much sneaky beaky stuff you can do in that. So they were spotting for us. Basically, it was me and Ian out this particular night. Lovely warm summer's evening, night time, and Sergeant and Ginge were up on the Heights Road spotting for us any car headlights they saw. They'd radio us through, and we'd follow up. Right, we're just coming to a little dirt track now. See the road sign there, it's closed for vehicles, but back in the day, back in the 90s, it was open. Obviously put a big piece of stone there to stop anybody coming through. I think what it is, they've been using this as a bit of a rat run to bypass Burnley Road and the almost constant temporary traffic lights that we have on here. So they've been using that, but this particular night, this were open. So basically, where I've just brought you now, I turned the headlights off. It was getting light, like I say, it was midsummer, around about 4 o'clock in the morning, and we just drove on here. Right, we're approaching the other end, the Caldine Avenue end. Big lump of stone or concrete here as well, just to stop folk coming through. Right, and just approaching Caldine Avenue. Some lovely houses up here. Just a bit of a side note, these houses you see up on our right, they weren't here. back in the 90s. They're recent builds. I think they're about 2000, a few years later on, this particular tail. So, yeah, Colleen Croft weren't here when this story took place. Right, we're up onto Colleen Avenue now, and basically slowed down, put the windows down on the car and started driving along slowly, just keeping our ears and eyes peeled for anything that may be suspicious. You could hear a car alarm from a mile off, so right, I'll get back to you. Oh, right, I'm back. I'll just set off on Colleen Avenue to show you what we were doing. We're just driving along slowly. It was pretty similar actually. The sun was just coming up. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, midsummer. We're driving on here about, must have been about walking pace, 4, 5, 6 miles an hour. Just keeping an eye out what we're coming across. Yeah, we're just pretty quiet really. There weren't many people about. It were like first thing Sunday morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning. As we came along, kept checking on these little pathways and these parked up cars that we've got, just making sure that there were nothing going on. Checking up the side roads, yep, they were pretty clear, and it wasn't nothing out of the normal sort of patrols that we were doing. Yeah, just came along here. Pretty quiet. Looking up, there were pretty much as it is today. There were some clouds, but nothing much to worry about, and it was getting quite warm. Then, as we approached here, Thrush Hill Road, we came to the access to Mytholmroyd Community Centre. Bit of a change from then. The bridge that we've just come across there, that wasn't the bridge. Were further on. They've since rebuilt the bridge, and the houses you see there, they weren't there. It was a doctor's surgery, an old doctor's surgery that were there. So yeah. So as we come into the car park, I'll just turn around and let you see what we've got. Yeah, as we came into the car park, Ian looked up and said, "Well, what the bloody hell's that?" And there was a bright sort of light up above the hill there, where you can see the top of the hill there. There's this bright light, and it to me it just looked like an aircraft. You know, when you get aircraft coming towards you, they do look as though they're stuck in the sky. But yeah, anyway, we parked up and we both got out of the vehicle. Yeah, we both got out of the vehicle and we changed, sort of walked a few yards just to change direction really. Looking up, that light was still there, and what I thought, well, it's a bit strange. There's bright white light, but if it was an aircraft, there was certainly no navigation lights that I could see. You know, like red for port, green for starboard on an aircraft, and it just does seem to be stuck in the sky. So I thought, well, what we'll do, we'll change direction again. So I set off up here. This is Thrush Hill Road, towards this railway bridge here that we've got, and Ian was still giving us sort of a running commentary as we were driving along. He was a passenger, kept looking out. Yeah, it's still there, Martin. It's still there. I was concentrating on the driving, obviously, and we drove through here, out to the other side. Temporary block because of the leaves on the trees, but as we came out of the tree line, Ian was still looking across, saying, "Yeah, it's still there, Martin." And it was. I thought, well, that's a bit of a strange one. By this time, if it was an aircraft, obviously it'd have moved along, and we'd have seen it, but I made out the shape of the aircraft, but no, nothing. It was still there up in the sky. I'd say, well, what, 300 or 400 feet up, stationary in the sky, and I thought, well, that's a bit strange. It can't be light refraction or something bouncing off the clouds or anything, because the clouds are a lot higher up. So what we did, I drove onto where we're driving now, onto Scout Road, and it was still there. We could still see this bright light, stationary. It wasn't moving. It was there, sort of stuck in the sky. Really, it was just a bit of an odd one. So I've came on here a bit further. Ian were he was getting a bit excited by this point. Oh, you know, it looks like a UFO. And I thought, oh, good grief, that's one thing we don't want to start reporting. And I parked up just about here, just to the entrance to the field down there. We stopped the engine. Yep, we stopped the engine and got out of the car. And we walked a bit further down the lane to the gap between Oxford Terrace and Rose Grove, which is, you can see just across the way there. And we stood here by the wall, and we looked up, and the light was still there, and it was just we still couldn't work out what it was. I thought, if that's an aircraft, it'd have moved, it'd have gone by now. And yeah, we stood there and just looked at each other, actually puzzled as to what we were seeing. And then suddenly, it did start to move. It started moving slowly at first, and then increased in speed. It was going at a bit of a rate of knots up into the air. I'd say by this time it's going about 20. I'd say about, well, it started climbing, then started increasing in speed, and then I'd say we're about 15, 20 feet up into the air. Oh, there's an aircraft, nothing to do with this story. And then suddenly it did really take off, and went, and sort of, before we knew it, it was up into the clouds and away, and we lost sight of it. And we still sort of looked at each other, wondering what the bloody hell we'd seen. And it was just a bit odd. I was trying to work out. I thought, well, it's certainly no aircraft that I've ever seen. As you know, in my past, I have mentioned before that I was in the Royal Navy. I was on the HMS Ark Royal, which is the old aircraft carrier, and we did have jets on board. We even did trials with Harrier jump jets and different helicopters that that the MOD were looking at, and it certainly wasn't anything that I'd ever seen before. I was a bit of a whiz on aircraft recognition, but it wasn't. That wasn't an aircraft. And then we just climbed back in the car, absolutely gobsmacked. We didn't have a bloody clue what we just witnessed, and it was just a very strange occurrence. We set off back on patrol, but we kept looking up this were at 4 o'clock, and we weren't off till 6, and we kept looking up into the heavens, but nothing, not a sausage. Ian was mad keen on getting back to the Nick. He said, "Do you think we should do a pocketbook entry?" I said, "There's absolutely no chance at all." The last chap who reported something like that was a colleague from 1980 called Alan Godfrey. He had an experience with a UFO, which didn't really end well for the poor lad. They basically, he got kicked out of the force, and I just, well, I'm not going down that route. I've got a wife, I've got 3 kids. There's no way on earth am I going to start putting reports in. It's like signing your own certificate to end up leaving the force, signing your own resignation years before you should actually go. So that was that. What I will do when I get back, I'll give you a bit of an update and a bit of a debrief on what we've just done. So hopefully we'll see you back there. Thank you.